there any good cars around here? Hey everyone, this is Wes Johnson with Haze Garage, and this is Around the Hood with KSL Cars. So this is a 1971 Chevrolet Camaro. I picked this one up at Barrett-Jackson about 3 years ago. It was the original car for CarFix in 2014, and it was season 3 of CarFix, and there's a guy named Zimmerman and another guy named Lou that put together a reality show. And this car actually, they had a Matchbox car that was made after this car. And so if you go to Stable Camaro, you'll get all sorts of ammunition on this car. This was a really cool reality show that was done back in 2014. '69 Plymouth GTX. And this is a pretty unique car. The color is very iconic in the muscle car world. This is B5 blue, very significant amongst the Mopars. And one day when my daughter and I were walking by, she walked by and I looked at that, and this was completely impromptu, that her hair just happened to be the same color, just happened to be B5 blue. If you put your head in here and give it a good smell, it smells like your grandma's house. So part of the era in the late 60s and I think the early 70s was what they called an 8-track tape. Part of what I've done here at Haze Garage is I've made this actually work. So let's see if we can get it to work. This is Tommy James and the Shondells. So this is a 70 Roadrunner, and this is one of the only cars that I have that's got the 8-track tape player in it. So this is a 1970 Hemi Cuda convertible. And it was not originally a Hemi car. If it was, it would be crazy expensive. I got this and it was just all on a rotisserie. So it was painted, but all the parts came with it. And so me and my buddy Derek Eakins, that runs Eakins Restorations, he and I put this together. And the Cuda motor, the one thing about the Hemi motors when they first came out, they were really undependable. They heated up and they blew up all the time. They were called the elephant because they were so big and they heated up so bad. But this one's an aluminum one, and it comes from a place out of Canada called For Hemis Only, FHO. It's got 573 cubic inches, so it's a ton. There's an old saying, no replacement for displacement, and that's what this is. This is just a huge V8 motor, and it's got twin carburetors, twin 4-barrel carburetors on it. So this is from Eakins Garage, and my buddy Derek was the one that built this car. It's a 1973 Plymouth Cuda, and his wife Val did some real nice photography out on the salt flats. What the build book does is it takes the car from the very beginning and takes you through chronologically, step by step, how they built the car. But this is a 1973 Plymouth Cuda with the 340 motor, and it's also got the 4-speed transmission. So it's a real nice car, and you can see what Derek did. Derek and Val, his wife Val's a real good photographer. That's the neon sign that was on front of the Pappas Steakhouse. It was an icon here in South Davis, Bountiful, Utah. Those benches and the light are actually from Pappas Steakhouse, and then the phone over on the side was where Mrs. Pappas actually took phone orders. But wait, there's more! So this is a 1989 Chrysler Maserati. Whoever heard of a Chrysler Maserati? But if you want to check, that's exactly what it is right there. A Maserati. Lee Iacocca, back in the late 80s, he got in touch with his buddy that back in, I think Di Tommaso or something was the guy's name. But anyway, they decided they were going to take a Chrysler LeBaron with a 2.2 liter turbo motor in it and send it back to Italy, and they were going to make it a Maserati. So that's what you got right here. Low miles too. When I built Hank's garage, I was trying to decide whether or not that I wanted to put the dyno in or not. It's short for dynamometer, but everybody knows it as a dyno. And what a dyno does is it measures the engine's horsepower and the torque. If you get someone like Brandon, he can actually sit and he can tune a car while it's there on the dyno. They've got what they call an eddy brake, and that creates resistance, and it simulates a trailer, or it simulates a hill or something like that. And so Brandon can sit there and go through the entire range. So this is a truck that I call Purple Haze. We really didn't know what the history of the truck was, but if you look at some of these flames back in the 80s, they did all of this by hand. The guy that built the car, his name's Mike Duffy, and he's a Canadian dude, And anyway, I talked to him and he gave me the whole story of how this truck was built. And so we're just putting that together, and this truck won hundreds of awards, but I didn't really know about any of that until I just found out from Mike Duffy from Canada 10 days ago. So one other thing that people ask about, they say, what do you do with this, Wes? And I said, well, it just meets the cool factor. So I got this up in Logan, and I've never known how to drive a diesel, but they gave me a quick lesson, and I have never ground more gears in my whole life and been more scared than coming down Logan Canyon with this truck, because I didn't have any clue how to drive it. It's not like driving a regular car or a regular truck. It's very, very different. It's got the diamond tucked interior, which was a big deal back in the 1970s, 1980s. So my favorite car in the entire world is this 1970 Dodge Challenger. And I've had it for 44 years. Never in the history of me owning this car have I had a ticket. When this car was first built, it was built with the plum crazy color, that's purple. And I'll show you a little piece of the trunk that actually has the purple paint. Plum crazy has turned into one of the really most popular colors that are out there today because it's old, and I think it works really good on the old cars, but as far as on the new Challengers and stuff, I don't care for it that much. That's my favorite car in the whole wide world right there. Chrysler Corporation and Warner Brothers had a deal, and so they got these badass cars that they called Roadrunner. And if you look down here, there's a special horn, and it's a purple horn. If you ever see a purple horn in a Roadrunner, you know it's legit.
Chasing love can drive you mad, make you feel real good, make you feel so sad. Oh.
So this is the mezzanine, the bar, the party area at Hank's Garage, and you can tell what goes on up here. This is a great spot for weddings, corporate events, company parties, birthday parties, that kind of thing. And when we get too many people up here, we take it downstairs, and that's a lot of fun. We've kind of made it into a happy place. That's it for this edition of Around the Hood with KSL Cars. Thanks for watching.